Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I hope you guys are all doing very fabulous. So today's video, I am gonna show you my top 20 favorite eyeshadow palettes. This was actually a request from one of my subscribers. Her name is Shaz. She's from the UK. She asked to see my brush collection and my eyeshadow collection and then give you my favorites and then any suggestions. I'm gonna tweak it just a little bit. So I'm gonna do two separate videos. I'll do a my favorite brushes in a separate video. And then I'm also going to tweak this eyeshadow palette just a little bit. Instead of showing you my entire eyeshadow palette collection, I'm just going to show you my top 20 favorite eyeshadow palettes. The reason being is because, to be honest, my eyeshadow palette collection is a little disorganized. I have some in this room, I have some in my bathroom, I have some in my linen closet, I have some in my bedroom, just all over my dressers, and I admire the YouTubers that have it all put together in beautiful like glass crystal drawers and everything is, I mean, you know, they have it together, okay? And to be honest, I don't. So I eventually will get it figured out and get it organized. But today I'm going to show you my top 20. And I'm going to give you a little bit of reasons why they're in my top 20. I mean, this was hard. I could have easily gone for 40 or 50. So when I see these, my favorite videos, man, it's tough. So thank you though, Shaz, for the suggestion. Before I get right into it, let me introduce myself. My name is Carrie and I love makeup. That's it. I'm self-taught. Very simple, very easy, very pretty and fun look. So please consider subscribing to my channel if you like my content. And for those of you already subscribed, thank you so much. You guys are the best. You guys are the best. Thank you for your support. All right, let's get right into it. So this is in no particular order, with the exception of my top two. So you're gonna agree with a lot of my list, and then some of my lists you're gonna be like, I don't know, you're crazy. So anyways. All right, so I do have some notes here because I gotta keep myself on track. I can get a little long-winded and go off on tangents. So if you see me looking down, it's because I gotta keep myself focused, okay? But the first palette I have is the Colourpop Going Coconuts palette. This is a phenomenal palette. It is a true neutral palette. It doesn't lean too orange. It doesn't lean too pink. It is a true neutral palette. Great pigmentation. It is Colourpop quality, which always comes through. They always have really good quality. And these shimmers down here in the middle, oh, beautiful. I mean, just a phenomenal palette. I feel like it should be in everybody's collection because it is a true neutral palette. Moving on to Milani. This is their Ungilded Most Loved Mattes palette. And I feel like this also should be in everybody's collection because we should all have a matte palette. And this is actually excellent quality. They blend out beautifully. You've got pinks, you've got oranges, you've got browns in here. My opinion is one of the best matte palettes on the market. So, and it's fairly cheap. I think it's $12 to maybe $15, but you can get some very, very beautiful looks from this little palette right here. I don't often do a matte look, but when I do, man, I look at it and I just say that is classic beauty. It is so put together. It's so nice and neat. You know, it just screams classic beauty to me. And so yeah, this Milani should be in everyone's collection. All right, moving on. The next palette I have, I'm laughing because this is gonna be one of those palettes where you might think you're nuts, okay? But the Urban Decay Stoned Vibes palette. Oh man, you guys, this palette did not receive good reviews, like at all, like across the board. People did not like this palette at all. However, I loved it. And it's actually what's on my eyes today. Let me come in a little bit. So this is a limited edition palette that Urban Decay came out with. I want to say the end of 2020. Yeah, so I used the heck out of this palette in 2021, and it was, I don't think Urban Decay marketed this palette very well. They said some kind of stuff like it's got these like, you know, some kind of special stone that wards off energy. It's like, no, makeup, please come back into your own lane, okay? People don't, just stay in your own lane, all right? But people found this very difficult to use. They're like speckled marble right here, these 8 shades in the middle, and then you've got some mattes, with the exception of this one. I think this one's a satin. But people found it difficult to use. So I figured out how to use this palette and just deal with it. And I thought the mattes were not so bad. This one right here, this kind of deep purple, was a little difficult to use, but I mean, I just had to go in with a soft hand and kind of, you know, work it a little bit more. But I found that these marbled, speckled, you know, whatever they call them, however Urban Decay marketed it, to be just absolutely stunning on the eyes. And this is where I got my love for glitters and shimmers, because this was the first time that I think I had something like this, where when you look at the colors in the pan, or the pigments in the pan, it kind of gave a very different look on the eye. I don't know that they market it as like a duochrome or a like shift of colors, but that's what it does. They just didn't market it well. But even though I really loved this palette, Urban Decay has gone, in my opinion, they have gone downhill with their quality of their eyeshadow palettes. I don't know why. I don't know what their thought process is. I don't know what they were thinking, but that does bring me to my next favorite palette, which is the Urban Decay Original Naked Palette. They don't sell this. They don't sell this anymore, you guys, and I don't know why. This is top quality. If I could have one makeup palette that is my favorite above all palettes, it would have been this palette. But I gotta take it away, because I have to take that rank away just because they don't sell this anymore. I've looked far and wide to try to see if I could get my hands on this. I tried eBay, Amazon, I tried all of it, because as you can see, my palette is like this color right here, completely gone. And you can see these kind of these tops right, or these pigments right here are almost, I've hit pan on all of them. I used the heck out of this palette, and I had a signature look that was so beautiful, you guys. So I would put Naked as my transition. I would put Buck as the inner, the crease. I would put Sin, as you can see, is gone all over the lid. And then I would put Virgin as my brow bone highlight. And then I would put like a black wing. And oh my God, it was so, so beautiful. When I found out that they stopped selling this palette, I tried to go on to Urban Decay's website and then just various websites to try to find just singles of these particular colors so that I could recreate that look again. But I couldn't find it. The only one that I could find was Sin. And I've even purchased their Naked Reloaded, and it doesn't even come close to the quality of this particular palette. Now, this particular palette for me, I can't even use anymore because it's well over 10 years old. I'm not going to put that on my eyes. But it was I mean, probably the best, like the best palette, in my opinion. But anyways, so I don't know what Urban Decay has done, but this does deserve to be on the list. So a lot of memories for me with this particular palette. All right, moving on to the Too Faced Natural Nudes palette. You guys, this is so good and it deserves love. It has not gotten the love that it deserves. You're not gonna get deep, a deep, look with the eye. I mean, this is the darkest shade that they have, but you are gonna get very sexy, very sultry looks with this palette. It is just an absolute beauty of a palette. The quality is great. The mattes blend beautifully. These shimmers and these glitters in here, oh, just sparkle so beautiful. when I do not use this palette enough. In fact, I think I'm gonna pull it out and start using it a little bit more, because anytime I look at, you know, old pictures and I have used this palette, I'm like, God, my eyes look good. I don't know, it just gives you a little extra sexy look from the eyes. It's just so beautiful. So I think I might even pull this out. One of my subscribers requested a nude shimmer look, so I may just use this particular palette. But great quality, awesome packaging. I love this like sleek cardboard magnetic packaging. Love that. All right, moving on. Another Colourpop. This is Colourpop's Blush Baby palette. Now, this is a new palette for me. I just purchased this palette probably maybe about a month and a half ago, and it has already landed in my favorites. Now, this palette is just, again, great quality. Colourpop has good quality. The mattes blend beautifully. These shimmers in here, this middle row of shimmers, absolutely beautiful. Just gives such a beautiful, like iridescent, almost fairy-like look on the eye, if that's even communicating properly. But it is just got beautiful like pinky peach tones in here that just look absolutely beautiful. Just so pretty and dainty and delicate on the eye. Gives a gorgeous look. Again, this is another palette when I see pictures of myself, you know, or previous videos where I'm wearing this, I'm just going, gosh, my makeup looks really, really good. So you're not going to get deep, heavy looks with this, but you're going to get very beautiful, delicate, pretty, very, very pretty. So I would recommend this to anyone who wants a baby peach or like a baby pink, peachy kind of tone look. This is great. Next up, Natasha Denona. This is Natasha Denona's mini gold palette. And I want to say this was about $27 on her website. I do appreciate when a high-end company like Natasha Denona comes out with mini palettes like this, because not only is it easier on your pocket, but you may not want a palette that's got 18, 30 colors or pigments in a palette. You may not use it. So do you want to spend upwards to $70 to over $100 on a palette that you might only use 5 or 6 colors? No, absolutely not. So I do appreciate the fact that she does do mini palettes like this. And this particular palette right here, y'all already know, I love green tones, but it is great. Incredible quality, this little palette. Sometimes you're weary, you know, is it going to be the same quality? But with this gold palette here, phenomenal quality. This like bright kind of gold color right here, let me show you, gives kind of the most beautiful opaque sparkle on the eye, especially when you put it on top of this green glitter right here. Oh, it's just like chef's kiss, just so beautiful. And you see, I mean, just watched like a dream. Great quality. And talk about opaque, that brings me to my next favorite, the Moira Beauty A Moment With You palette. This is fairly a new brand for me as well, but look at that color story. And this particular pigment right here, I feel makes the palette so worth it, because that particular pigment, when I think of opaque and when I see the effect that it gives on the eye, it reminds me of the Natasha Denona effect, that opaque, beautiful sparkle on the eye. That's what this pigment gives. But when it is on the eye, it gives a very similar effect. And the mattes blend beautifully. The pressed glitters, the satins in here, the metallics, beautiful, great quality. I mean, stunner quality with this particular palette. I am impressed. It has already moved its way into my favorites. And this particular pigment right here makes the whole palette worth it for me because of that beautiful sparkle that it gives on the eye. And I want to say this was only like $18.50 and I bought it as a sale. So I have another one of the palettes from Moira Beauty, and it's also excellent quality. So My next one is the Lorac Pro Palette. You guys, I used the heck out of this palette. Oh my goodness. Probably when I first started, oops, oh, I dug my fingernail in there by accident. When I first started in makeup, probably about 4 to 5 years into me getting into makeup, I used this palette so much. Now this is a newer palette. I had to repurchase. This is my second one because my first one I hit pan on. It was all fluffed up. It was gross. I couldn't even use it anymore. So I saw this one in TJ Maxx, I want to say maybe about a year and a half ago. And I picked it up right away because I'm not sure that they even sell this one anymore. But the top row, all mattes. These bottom rows, beautiful glitters and shimmers. Fantastic quality. Very simple, very easy, beautiful packaging. I mean, look how sleek, sexy, simple. Sometimes simple is the best. The mattes perform very well. So do the glitters and the shimmers. And the palette is just laid out so easy. This color, it's called white. This color is called cream. This color is called deep purple. I mean, come on. Just thank you, Lorac, for keeping it very simple. So I wish more companies would follow suit. All right, moving on to my next favorite. I had to put Pat McGrath in there. You know I had to put Pat McGrath in there. This is Mothership number 9, Huetopian Dream. And it is just a fantastic, look at the shift of color with these right here. Hopefully I don't blind you with my light ring, but I don't mind her rosy palettes. I know that they're getting a little redundant, but I do absolutely love the Astro Blitz shades that she does put in here. You just cannot replicate those on the eyes, you guys. Beautiful, beautiful sparkle on the eyes. But these pigments are a little bit drier, so you do need to use a glitter glue. You need to use them wet in order to really amplify the pigment. And because they are kind of chunkier glitter, you also, that's another reason why you would need to use a glitter glue or use them wet. McGrath's Mothership palettes, in fact, she should be coming out with one pretty soon here. She usually comes out sometimes between July and September. We might see them come out. Seems like they've been coming out earlier and earlier, but I do love her most recent Mothership palette, number 10, Moonlit Seduction. Oh, I just think it's so wonderful. I love Bronze Seduction also, but again, I could only pick 20 for this video. So anyways, let's move on to, I have a little quad here from Revolution Beauty. This is their Xxposed palette. It's Xxposed. I purchased this as an alternative to Charlotte Tilbury's Pillow Talk, which is like 50-something dollars. This I think was like maybe, I don't know, 10 or 12. I do love very simple quads like this because what you see is what you get. There's not a lot of thought in what kind of makeup look am I going to achieve. And this quality is very, very, very good. Let me swatch for you real quick. So in the pan, it didn't really, oh, let me do this one too. In the pan, it did, I accidentally cover up something? I think I accidentally, but anyways, you guys see the point. But do you see how it does come off a little pink, whereas in the pan, it looks almost brown. But yeah, this was an alternative to Charlotte Tilbury's Pillow Talk. And as you can see, I've kind of hit pan already on it because I did use this quite a bit. So do love quads, good quality, very good quality. All right, my next palette, I have to give some love to the Tom Ford little quad. It's called X2 Lava Lustre. Now I purchased this in the cosmetics company store, so I don't know if it's available anymore, but the reason why I purchased this specifically for Christmas, and this pigment right here is just so, so beautiful. And on the eye, it just sparkles. It just gives the most beautiful sparkle. A little bit closer. Yeah, look at that. Look at how it just glistens. It just glistens so beautifully. Oh, it just glistens so beautifully. Just beautiful. And then, and of course, the rest of these colors too, perfect Christmas colors, right? You want to add that pop of shimmer and glitter at a Christmas party or on Christmas Day. This. So in my favorites because it is just, and it's good. Okay, the next one is another little quad. It's Colourpop. You guys, Colourpop has made it a lot in my list. But this one is the little quad called like a Virgo. I know you guys are seeing a theme here with these rosy and these kind of mauve-y neutrals, but you got 2 mattes and you got 2 shimmers. What you see is what you get. Very easy. Also, very, very, very good quality. The mattes blend out beautifully, and these shimmers, I mean, they're just good, you guys. I mean, look at that. I mean, just imagine that on the eye. Just absolutely beautiful. Really good, and just so beautiful on the eyes. Something as simple as this, in my favorites, it's good. It's good stuff. All right, moving on. You know I had to put Morphe in there somewhere. This is the Morphe 35C Everyday Chic palette, and it is just a great palette to have in your collection. It has a beautiful color story. You've got these very soft kind of like hues on the top here, and then you've got like some darker colors here that you can do just beautiful day looks, night looks. You can do very simple looks. You can do dramatic looks. It does give you a very large variety of, oh, did I get stuff on my face? No, okay. I'm safe. It does give you a nice variety of pigments. The quality, very, very good. Pigments that I've used, the mattes that I've used, and the shimmers that I've used, I've just been able to get some very beautiful looks from this palette. Okay, my next favorite, Anastasia Beverly Hills, the Modern Renaissance palette, you guys. This is a very beautiful, warm toned palette, and my goodness, is it just one of the most unique palettes, I think, on the market. Mattes blend beautifully. I mean, like a dream. A little powdery, but that's Anastasia Beverly Hills. That's their formula, you know, so we just, you know, I tap off. They are so smooth. They're so buttery. And then you've got like pops of like pink and like deep red. And then you've got like these orange, you know, right here. And they all work beautifully together. Like doesn't matter. You can put this pink with this orange and it's gonna look stunning on your eye. You get very high pigment from the shimmers. You got high pigment from the mattes, and you just, I mean, everyone should have this palette. Everybody should have it. That's just my opinion because it is just so unique. It's so beautiful. No matter what shade you could close your eyes and just start applying on the eye and it would all look good. I mean, you know, open your eye when you apply, but but if you're like eeny, meeny, miny, mo, oh, okay, I'm going in with a warm taupe. Okay, eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Okay, now I'm going in with tempera. Like you could just pick and they would all work beautifully together. I don't know, did any of that make sense? But great palette. All right. You guys, my next one is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Carli Bybel collab. And you can see I have used the heck out of this palette. It is fluffed. It is messy. I have hit pan right here. Pigment is all over the place. This palette came out at the end of 2019. And this was my most used palette of 2020. Yes, in the height of COVID. I was wearing makeup. You know, you got to do something to make yourself feel better. But it's funny. You guys, I've mentioned before the birth of my son 6 years ago. I basically became a stay-at-home mom. But the job that I was at let me go to work very part-time. They let me go to work 1 day a week. But during the height of COVID, I was actually able to work a little bit more at this particular company because we were very busy, believe it or not. My husband was off work. He was able to watch the baby and I was able to go to work a little bit more. And man, did I use the heck out of this palette. And I just got the most stunning, most beautiful looks from this palette. The mattes blend beautifully. It's typical Anastasia Beverly Hills, a little powder, you gotta tap off, but the shimmers and the glitters in here, gosh, it's just such a unique palette with this pop of red right here. It just, Carli Bybel did a great job collabing with ABH on this palette. One of my favorites, just beautiful, beautiful eye looks, and get some of the most beautiful tones mixing some of these glitters together. Oh man, just great palette. I tried to buy another one because as you can see, mine is all nasty, but again, I can't find it. It's limited edition. But moving on, a few more, you guys. I'm almost rounding out, getting to my top 2 here. All right, the next one, the Too Faced Italian Spritz palette. Yep, brand new palette, only a few months old, already made it into my top 20. You guys, this is a new formula for Too Faced, which is great because it's about time. They needed to update their formula, and they did not disappoint with this palette. It is just so beautiful. The color story is amazing. You've got bright colors in here, and you've also got neutrals in here, so it caters to both worlds, people who want color but also people who want neutral. But it also, for the people who like neutrals like me and don't like to veer far out of their comfort zone, this gives a very comfortable place for me to stay in while still using color, if that makes any sense. I don't go too far out of my comfort zone with the color. It kind of keeps me in a safe space. Kind of keeps me in a safe spot, if that makes any sense at all. But I've done a lot of videos on this particular palette, and quality is great. The mattes blend beautifully. These shimmers and these glitters are absolutely stunning. It's just, they just did a great job. I don't really like the smell too much because y'all know my sinuses start acting up. I just wish companies would stop putting fragrance and, oh, it smells good in our makeup. I don't care. Just, I want good pigmentation. That's what I want. I want quality pigmentation. I don't care about smell, okay? Leave that to the perfume companies. All right, I'm off my soapbox. Anyways, great palette, did not disappoint whatsoever. Okay. My next one is Huda Beauty Rose Quartz. This is a cool tone dream, you guys. This is a phenomenal palette. If you like cool tones, you have to have this in your collection. The mattes blend out like a dream. It takes me no time at all to blend these mattes out. Just the quality is just so good. 8 mattes in here, and then you've got 10 like shimmer glitter colors that are just phenomenal, and they're a little bit chunkier, which is great, so they're easier to work with. Of course, I use a glitter glue. I always do, because it does help prevent fallout and, you know, fading away and just kind of flaking all over your face. Cool tones look great on warm toned skin, which is what I have. I'm kind of a warmer neutral, but a staple in my collection. I love Huda Beauty's matte formula. Just works absolutely beautiful for me. So I feel like that should be in everybody's collection. And watch some of these. This one is Energized. This one is Blissful. So beautiful. Ooh, see that chunk came off? Just the most beautiful, cool toned. And I mean, and it looks stunning. All right, we are at my top 2. One happens to be a high-end palette, and one happens to be a drugstore palette. So my 2 favorites right now this could change, but as of right now, my favorite drugstore palette is the Morphe No Silent Nights. You guys, this palette, I can't say enough good stuff about this palette. They came out with this palette last year for 2022, was part of their holiday collection. And boy, did they not disappoint. You talk about quality. These mattes blend beautifully. These shimmers are fantastic. You get I have gotten the most beautiful looks on my eyes, and I have done probably 5 or 6 videos on my channel just using this palette because it is just a stunner of a palette. They've laid this out so brilliantly to where all you have to do is take a column going from top down, and that is an eye look. So they've taken the brain work out of it. You know, looking at a large palette like this sometimes can be intimidating. Okay, what kind of look am I gonna do? There's so much choice. But the way that they've laid it out with all the mattes on the top, shimmers and glitters on the 2nd row, mattes 3rd row, glitters and shimmers on the 4th row, and then mattes on the 5th row, all you do is you take a column going from top down, that's your eye look. And you, man, beautiful, stunning looks with this palette. Only thing I wish is that they had a green row. They don't have a green row, but that's all right. That's okay. That's just personal preference. Everything else about this palette is perfection. Perfection. It is one of the best drugstore palettes across the board, and it is my favorite right now. And if I could only take one drugstore palette with me, it would be this one. Anyway, I don't know, wherever I was going. I don't know, an island, the zombie apocalypse, I don't know, whatever. But this would be it. Great palette, beautiful. Okay, my number one palette, high end, happens to be the Huda Beauty Empowered palette. I absolutely love this palette. I have used this palette so much this year, last year and this year, because this was her holiday line from 2022. Had to think about what year I'm in. But this is a color story that speaks to me. But the mattes, again, the mattes blend so beautifully on my eyes. That's why I have to give it to Huda Beauty. It's a personal thing for me. For some people, it might not work as well, but for me, it works fantastic. The mattes are so buttery. They're so easy to work with. And then these two gold shades right here, Charisma and Limitless. Some of the most beautiful goldy gold shades. Man, they're just so beautiful. Sometimes gold shades on the eyes can look very unflattering, but not these two. And I want to say, if I'm not mistaken, it's a new formula for Huda Beauty, those golds. And then this one right here, Bold Moves, is like a silvery gold. Oh my gosh, you guys, just breathtaking. You can get very simple, very beautiful, simple little looks, and then you can get real deep with this palette. I mean, I think I did a grungy, like a smoky grungy look with this palette. Yeah, with this particular palette. And you can get very sultry with this palette. You can get very sexy with it. You can get very intense eye looks with it, or you can get very simple daytime looks with it. I mean, it's very versatile. I know in the pan, when I'm looking, I know you guys are right here, but I'm looking at my viewfinder. When I look at this palette though, I go, these shades look too similar, but man, on the eye, they just, I don't even know how to describe it, but they just work beautifully. And I've gotten stunning, beautiful looks from this palette. So as of right now, this is taking my number one spot as far as a high-end palette goes. So you guys, I don't know, do you agree with my list? What do you think about my list? Comment below, tell me what you think. Hey guys, let me just give you a few recommendations. These recommendations are very simple. If you are a beginner at makeup or just getting into makeup, go cheap. Don't spend a lot of money. The makeup industry is so saturated. Do not be concerned with missing out on, oh my gosh, this palette, everybody's raving about it, I gotta have it. No, you don't. Because let me tell you something. Here today, gone tomorrow. That Too Faced Italian Spritz palette only came out a couple months ago and it's already been forgotten about. Start cheap, okay? Makeup will always be there. The latest and the greatest will always be there. It will, every day they will be coming out with something that they say is the latest and the greatest. Purchase things that speak to you as far as a color story goes. If you're attracted to a palette, you go, whoa, that is so beautiful. I like that color story. And you can imagine and envision, you know, playing with that palette and, oh, how is it going to look on my eyes? Oh, I think that would be so great. Then that might be a color story that speaks to you. Then go out and purchase it. But again, don't buy Pat McGrath or Huda Beauty that's, you know, upwards to $100. You don't need to do that if you're a beginner, okay? Start small, have an understanding of the basics of makeup application, and then work your way up to the more expensive brands. That's exactly what I did when I first got into makeup. I started cheap and then worked my way up to higher end brands. Also, another tip, wait for sales, you guys. If you've noticed on my channel, I don't often review the latest and the greatest because I purchase everything with my own money. I'm not privy yet, you guys. Nobody's sending me PR yet, you know. I wish they would, but you know, it'll come. But I'm purchasing everything with my own money. So when I purchase something, it's Do I like this color story? Am I going to use it in my everyday life? And is it, you know, and how is the quality? You know, so oftentimes it might be a couple months later that I might have a palette that is already forgotten about, but I'm reviewing it on my channel because I'm purchasing it with my own money on a sale. I always wait for sales. I have never once in my life purchased Pat McGrath at full price. Wait for sales, okay? Especially wait for Black Friday. I know that it can be tempting to be like, oh my gosh, I want this right now. I want this right now, because you are attracted to the color story. You know, people are hyping it up, but try not to fall for the hype all the time. Every once in a while, I will purchase something right away, like that Too Faced Italian Spritz palette. I paid full price for it. I wanted it. I saw it and I wanted it. I knew that it was something that I was drawn to it, and so I purchased it. I paid full price for it. Every once in a while, yes, you are going to do that. And I'm glad that I did, because I do love that palette. It's in my top 20. So, but again, wait for sales, okay? And don't be afraid of missing out, you guys. It's ridiculous. The makeup industry is so saturated, right? And it's not going to change, okay? There will always be the best thing out there, okay? So wait for Black Friday, especially. That's where I buy a lot of my high-end brushes, like Refer and Bling brushes. I always wait for a sale. Eye out for sales. Okay, so those are some very simple tips. Start cheap, wait for sales. But the palettes that I've shown you in my top 20, I feel for me, I have loved, I have enjoyed. Great quality, good pigmentation, easy to work with, and then of course stunning, beautiful eye looks. So I hope that this was informative. I hope that it helped. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Shaz, I hope that this video did you justice, and I hope that you enjoyed it. You guys, please comment below. Tell me what you think of my list. Tell me, you know, if you have any suggestions or like what your favorite palettes are. You guys comment below. I will respond to your comments, and if I don't respond to your comment, it's because I didn't get it. So kindly re-comment. Because sometimes I get comments that get deleted. Just, I don't know why. It's this, the YouTube bots. I don't know. Sometimes comments do get deleted. If I haven't responded to you in at least 24 hours, re-comment. It's because, it's not because I'm ignoring you. It's because I just didn't get it. But anyways, thank you so much for subscribing to my channel, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.